is week 8 of the 2025 Street Parking Vault. This week, we're taking on ox head and horse face. Your Program B version is 3 rounds. Each round starts with 7 wall walks. Then you will do either 100 double unders or 100 hopovers, and finally 25 barbell deadlifts. Your score for this workout is your total time, with the goal of 13 to 18 minutes. Welcome back. It is week 8 of the 2025 Street Parking Vault. This week, we are taking on ox head and horse face. Your shift version of this workout is a 10-minute AMRAP, that's as many rounds and reps as possible in 10 minutes, of 4 inchworms, 30 single unders or 40 toe taps, and 12 dumbbell deadlifts. Your score for this workout is your total number of completed rounds plus any additional reps, with the goal of 5 to 8 rounds.
Welcome to week 8 of the 2025 Vault. Julian and I are taking on ox head and the horse face. I'm gonna be doing the dumbbell version, so 25-pound dumbbells, and Julian's gonna be doing barbell, but he's doing extra challenge. So he has 10 wall walks to do instead of 7, and he's going with what, 225? 225. 225 on the barbell. So should be a good time.
Boom. I don't know why, Alex, have you seen that like reel going around with the audio that's like beam bop boom bop boom bop?
Yeah, ever since the Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness, I just felt like all of a sudden screaming that out loud when I was watching this introduction. Before we get started, I thought it was like there's something about the description of like these characters, like the ox head and horse face, that said despite their intimidating appearance, they ensure that the deceased find their proper place in the realm beyond. So like almost
that's
like
kind of comforting.
Right? Right? Like, hey, like it's like a bouncer, you know, like a gentle giant.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, no, it's cool, homie. Like, I'm just gonna place you in the right place, you know. Anyway, all right, we're in it. This workout. Who came up with this one? Do we know?
This is. I think it was like you and Miranda.
Oh, that's right. Because I tested that. That's right. Yeah, I remember doing a trial run on this one, and then kind of like, I think the question was like, is this too many wall walks? And I was like, nah, it's not too many wall walks, because the deadlift and the double under, I felt plenty of rest going back up to the wall. So that was really good.
Yeah, I was glad you were doing 10, because I was like, oh, cool, I can act like I'm ahead of him for a little bit.
Nah, you were rolling. How did this workout feel for you?
It was great. It built up though, like it was gentle, like the gentle giant thing. It was gentle at first, and I was like, oh, this is neat. But after the second round, that third round, that really whooped my butt.
Yeah.
But I like wall walks, so
yeah.
I think for someone who doesn't like wall walks, this is gonna be pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I remember you were just really pushing pace. I was like, why is she going so hard?
I had to give you a run for your money. I was like, man, I gotta get ahead while I have a chance. And you still beat me. Well, I shouldn't have given it away, but
no, it's cool.
Tell me how the double unders were though, because I was glad I only had a hopovers to do.
You know, what is it about double unders? Man. Well, I remember actually, I have this thing that I'm like with my ankle right now, that anytime I do a high volume jumping movements, it really gets irritated, and then I'm out for like 5 days later. It's weird. Like even running really irritates it. So double unders tends to flare it up. There's times where I have to tend to lean on my right side, so it can get uncomfortable, to be honest. But
did you break intentionally, or were you like tripping up at any point, or?
I think a little bit of both. I don't know if it's like a rope thing. Obviously, the wall walks tax your shoulders going into the double unders. So if you tend to like really shake the rope with your shoulders, right? Instead of like letting the wrist do the work, it really compounds, and then it gets really challenging.
Yeah, and 100 is such a big set. Like, I don't know. I would just be tempted to tell people if you're like on the fence with double unders, I would just go with hopovers.
100%. You don't want to get stuck on the double under section.
No.
That is for sure.
There's just way too much time. Now, I remember I was so intimidated by the dumbbell version for this one because it's double the deadlift reps. And I just knew that was going to eat it was just going to eat me up. And it did catch up to me eventually.
Because it's, how many deadlifts is it with the dumbbells?
50.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. You know what though? I felt like it was so appropriate though, because like how I was breaking and then you were just moving. Like I feel like we broke the same amount of times possibly. Except this time you were just flying out. You flew out of this round right here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, you're right. I think we ended up taking as many breaks. I just had to do bigger chunks, which is, I mean, it's reasonable. It's a lighter load. But yeah, that got tough.
You know, the wall walks is something that I've really learned to appreciate as a gymnastics movement to really build up that shoulder stamina. They've become one of my favorite movements to do.
Yeah. So
okay,
someone
so Julie,
did you see that? Did you see that? Oh, well, Angela Carpenter she was talking with a member who was scared of doing, so you know how we have the 4 push-up plus tap customization per wall walk? And she laughed and said, didn't know which was worse, 28 push-ups or 7 wall walks. That customization is
aggressive.
It's kind of rude. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. But I was thinking about it this morning because I was doing the shift version, which has some inchworms. And I was like, yes, 4 push-up plus taps is aggressive for 1 wall walk. But it's like, then just, if that's the case, then just do the wall walk. Like, there's a reason why people are like, oh, that's too hard. And I'm like, okay, so then do 1 wall walk. And it's like, wall walks are difficult. And there's a reason why we chose a customization that was equally tough, you know?
Right. I would say the best way to approach something like that, Angela, when you have conversations, and this is just even in general for us, how we kind of make customizations. You're looking at 7 to 10 wall walks. As you're seeing here, that probably takes us somewhere in between 45 seconds to a minute 20 of work time, right? And because you're seeing that there's not much of a pause that's happening between Alex and myself. So I would say that, yeah, maybe it's about a minute of work at full efficiency, right? Take that same concept and apply it to push-up tap tap. So if 28 push-up tap taps is taking you longer than 2 minutes, then customize that and bring down the rep scheme a little bit. Maybe try 20 instead of 28.
Yeah.
And if that's taking you like 3 minutes of work, quickly make an adjustment until you kind of figure out, okay, what's 90 seconds of work, of efficient work. Even if you break once or twice, that's totally fine. That's normal. You're trying to figure that out. That's why there's always learning that's happening in every single workout. So, Angela, I hope that helps answer that. So that way, when you are with somebody or you're having a conversation, look at how long, and I'm assuming that's in the coach's notes, this should take you about this long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the same thing we would say, even if they were doing wall walks and 7 were taking too long, it's like, okay, we'll just maybe do 5 or, you know.
Exactly.
It's the same reason why you went extra challenge, because your 10 to my 7 are about the same time, you know, like for you to have done 7 would have been limiting you in like where you are with your fitness with that movement, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Sabi, let's go ahead and pull up Julie's comment as well. All right, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, so Julie asked, is 100 singles okay? Meaning like 100 single unders instead of double unders or hop overs, because she's not quite ready or comfortable with that volume. I think that's great. It's kind of the same idea. Like if you're doing 100 single unders and it's taking you about the same amount of time it would take, or what we've suggested in the coach's notes guidance, to do 100 double unders or hop overs, then totally.
Yes, and a lot of that time too, this is where like make fitness fun. Choose something that's going to challenge you. So like even if hopping over a dumbbell is a little bit more intimidating, doesn't feel safe, right? For like the rolling ankle factor, you can always set up something lower. So maybe place a rope on the ground, and then that way you know that you're not going to roll your ankle doing something like that. But again, also going back to 100 singles is also okay, you know?
Right. Yeah, I like to like mix it up. Like if you're not quite ready, maybe this workout you do single unders, and the next time it shows up, you do hop over something like smaller, like you said. My mom likes to hop over her hip halo band because it's like soft and it's real low to the ground. So it's like, for whatever reason, mentally, like she can jump over that and not a dumbbell, which I'm
There we
like,
go.
that's great.
There we go. Wall walks. What do you guys? Alex, what's up with you? Are you doing the open? Or you're like, nah, I don't care.
Oh, I definitely don't care.
You're like, yeah. I mean,
I might do it.
Yeah.
I'm at a point now. We were just talking before we started. You know, I was just like 20 weeks when we filmed this, and I'm 30 weeks and some now. So I doubt I would do anything like prescribed. But I know they have like other options. So
you know what's so funny? Like Wall Walks has now made their appearance in the Open for those of you guys who are participating. But in 2019, I remember Miranda and I went to Miami to go help program for Wadapalooza, and we had pitched Wall Walks in the in that programming room, and people were like, "Wait, what? Wall Walks? No, that's
like,
skill
oh,
work.
that's absurd.
You would never do that in a workout." We're like, "Oh, that's different." Like, actually, we program these in our community, and they're actually great. They're safe. They're challenging. And then fast forward, now it's like part of people's, training regimen.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we program them responsibly. Like, it's very rare that we'll exceed like 20 total reps in a workout. Except for the front squat wall walk one we did a few weeks back.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that was a much more manageable chunk of reps at a time.
Sure.
So I remember it was like this set, because I'm on my third round right here. There were a couple times where my body was moving faster than my hands, and I thought I was going to roll off the wall. Like I thought
goodness.
I know, it got kind of sketchy. I was trying to keep up with you, but.
Nah, I knew what I was doing here. I remember exactly what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? Break intentionally, because you're going to go unbroken on this last set. I was so committed.
Yeah.
I had warmed up by then. I was like, you know what? You can do this. I take the more of like the elephant approach, where it kind of takes them a little bit to get going, but once they're going, they're on a flow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. What do we got here? Sabe, any tips for getting better at jump rope? I can do single unders, but still trip up pretty often. Go ahead, Alex.
Do you mean you trip up doing single unders, or do you trip up trying to do double unders? I just want to make sure that I'm understanding that.
Yes.
And then I think I'm not going to read what Miranda said, and I'm going to try to keep my train of thought right now. One tip that helped me with jump rope, this was both for singles and doubles, is that you should be jumping when you feel the rope hitting the ground in front of you. So like just having like a tactile cue, because you can feel that feedback through the handles. That was huge for me, especially if you have like a lighter rope, because that's hard. It's hard to do single unders with a lighter rope because it moves so quickly. So anyway, that might help if you just wait to jump when you feel that the rope make contact with the floor. That was helpful for me.
Yeah, and another tip that I would give as well is if you're learning single unders and you're having a hard time with them still, there's going to be an acceptance to not use them in a workout while you're still working on the skill. Because
that's fair.
So if you recognize like, hey, I need to build up my skill on a single under, choose to do that after the workout as a skill set. So like maybe a 5 to 10 minute EMOM. Like, okay, I'm going to do 5 to 10 single unders where I'm composed. There's not the my heart rate's not through the roof.
Right.
Because all those elements can actually end up making the skill hard to work on. And then, so like when you're in the workout, do choose something that allows you to still focus on the stimulus. So that's hopovers, where you're not going to be limited or hindered by that. And then once you're building more confidence in the movement, by the cues that Alex is giving, then start to incorporate them first, not into high volume workouts like this one. This is like 100 reps per round. Do it more when you see maybe 30 reps per round.
Right.
And then slowly you work your way up from there. So I hope that helps. We gave you lots of things to pull from there. So I hope one of those ends up helping there.
All right, so you wrapped it up. You finished your third round. I'm still chipping away.
You know what's
50
so
reps.
interesting? One of the things that I have felt now heavily with not training volume anymore, it's not my strength that's limited in the deadlift. As you saw, I was able to go unbroken. My grip has started to get weaker. And I realized that even in when we're doing the Wednesday strength sessions, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to get straps now, and I'm struggling to hold on to the weight.
That's what was happening right here. Same thing.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What do we have here? So Miranda is. Oh,
Nice.
go ahead, Salva. You're gonna boot call here.
There we go.
Okay. Perfect.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. So that took us around how long? Like 13 minutes or something like that?
I didn't see when you finished. I was just over 16, and I was probably like 2 minutes behind you. So you were around 14 or so.
Okay. Perfect. So, Alex, what would you? So one of the things I was actually talking about with people, I posted this in the ST Wolf class group, and I was like, again, the purpose of this part of the show now is to kind of talk about how we approach not only the vault or how you can approach it differently, but
Mm-hmm.
also the week's worth of programming, and how you incorporate it based on what you've got going on in life or where you're at. In this case, Alex is 30-something age pregnant. So if you were to tackle the vault again, what would you do differently?
Well, it's funny you asked because I did it this morning with my mom, and I
Oh,
did the shift version, which is pretty typical at this stage in my pregnancy. Is just to like mentally, I'm like, I don't even want to have to like try to figure out how I can make this work. So, and shift has been fantastic. So I did it this morning. They had inchworms. I did toe taps and the dumbbell deadlift. So I was able to use the same weight, but it's only 12 at a time instead of 50. So it's
okay.
just, it's like classic shift, right? We take this big volume workout. Like this is one of the bigger volume workouts we do.
Hold on, Alex. Alex, shut
Yeah.
the music. Or Salvi, shut the music off, please. It's like
Yeah, I can hear it.
like
There it is.
like rocking out.
Yeah, so just smaller chunks of work, more reps, or like more rounds. But that's how I did it. So, and it was great. It was exactly what I needed. 10 minutes, in and out, and yeah, I had a lot of fun.
So what I would do, and here's for some of those people that how I approach this. There was a question on the Facebook page that asked, "Hey, can I customize and do handstand push-ups instead of wall walks?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Sure.
And that talk about fitness freedom, totally. Anytime, sometimes I will see wall walks, I'll ask myself the question, do I want to do this? Do I feel like doing wall walks today, or do I want to do a little bit more of a high skill gymnastics movement?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, totally. Now, how many is appropriate for that? Again, this is going to go back to, I don't know your guys' personal abilities when it comes to your volume on that movement. So if you were to say, hey, I want to do handstand push-ups, that's cool. I don't know what your stamina or what kind of reps you can bang out. So what I would say in that situation is take how many can you do in a minute to a minute 15, right?
Right.
So if I look at this, I'm like, okay, how many handstand push-ups can I do in 1 minute? Because that's how long it was taking me to do about 10 or a minute 15. 3 rounds. Okay, what kind of volume do I want to get in here? I would be like, okay, maybe I could do 30 handstand push-ups. And this would be something even me and Sally would be like, you down for doing 30 per round? And we're like, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Because we have an efficiency with kipping handstand push-ups.
Yeah, right.
Now, also be like, okay, well, if I feel like doing strict handstand push-ups, would that still be the same? Absolutely not. My volume there isn't where it used to be. So I'd be like, okay, maybe I can do 20 strict handstand push-ups over the course of 3 rounds. That puts me at 60. I feel like I can hold that intensity, in this workout. Or another option would be wall-facing handstand push-ups or strict handstand push-ups.
Those are gaining popularity the
Those are
last
gaining
couple of
popularity,
years.
and they're super challenging because
Right.
then if I did that, like, yeah, maybe I might stick to 10 strict wall-facing handstand push-ups, and that would actually be probably the same as me doing 10 wall walks.
For sure.
Difficulty with
Or harder.
absolutely, because
Yeah.
there's so much more that you have to pay attention to, your midline, your stability. So that's what I would do differently if I were to do this. I would probably
Nice.
play around with the handstand push-up option. Now, which choice? I would say, hey, that's player's choice. You do you. I wouldn't change the double unders. and I would not change the barbell deadlift weight. I think that was very appropriate. That kept it going to what we kind of put here, which is we want the goal somewhere in between 13 to 18 minutes.
Yeah, you nailed it. You know, I was in the Facebook group last night and someone was asking if they could do dips instead of the wall walk. I was like, dang.
Dips. I would say you can. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of like, you know, sure. I mean, it's still a press. It's still like a gymnastics, a pretty high level gymnastics movement. You lose the inversion. So like I almost prefer a handstand push up, but I mean, that's really the only reason. But yeah, I was just like, oh, I just was kind of tickled by somebody like really thinking outside the box. And I didn't want to discourage that, you know, I was like, sure, go for it.
Yeah, that's so you brought up something good because then you're like, you know, does it mimic the similar movements? Kind of like a pull up. That'd be the same for me as like, hey, a customization for the pull up is a bent over row.
Right.
Well, yes, you're still kind of targeting similar muscle groups, but there's something, you know, what you nailed on was you're missing the inversion now here.
Right.
And that is something to also, you know, there's a training with that because it requires your core to kind of kick in here as well as you guys are working on this skill set. So, but anyway, yeah, that's what we would kind of do approaching this this one. So Salvi, let's go ahead and pull up Tuesday. What do we got for Tuesday?
Dude, it's just gymnastics and running. Every 4 minutes for 20 minutes, 15 toes to bar, 400-meter run.
Ooh, nice.
So I'll speak to this one. We lately have been, maybe members have noticed, maybe they haven't, but we've been putting, because I feel like, you know, traditional kind of CrossFit style is always like you run first and then you do, you know, whatever, XYZ.
Right.
But with these, where it's like you're working every so often and you're trying to earn rest before the next round starts, we've been putting the run on the back end to encourage a stronger pace, like a harder pace. Because people will inherently be like, oh gosh, if I get this run over faster, I'll get more rest before the next round. And you get to rest before you go into like a maybe not a high skill movement, but one that, you know, it's good to have some rest before and you can knock out a bigger chunk, because the idea here is more to do like big sets, and even extra challenge, we encourage unbroken toes to bar. So
yeah, that's so good. So Caitlin asked a really good question. Is this a full send kind of workout? 100%. Absolutely. Again, you want to give yourself, with whatever version you choose, at least a minute of recovery time in between every single round. Okay. So if you've gone less than a minute of recovery time after round one, make a quick adjustment.
For sure.
On the skill set. Keep the run, keep the intensity on the run, bike, or row. Go unbroken on the gymnastics situation here. Now, I look at this and I'm just going to throw a couple options for those people that are like, oh, you know, different ways you can approach this. Because I made the comment that I'm noticing my grip is getting weaker, I'm going to stick to this workout as is, and I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can go 20 unbroken per round and still keep under a minute and give myself a minute of recovery every single round, right? If I wasn't so concerned about my grip and I just felt like doing something different, right? GHDs. If you have a GHD at home, this is also a way for you guys to still mimic and get your core work in. It's a skill set kind of workout. You have to build up a volume for that. So you could do 15 to 20 GHD sit-ups as well and still go for that 400-meter run. That's a good customization as far as like a glory days, fitness freedom, because I don't recommend that for many people, because you also have to build up that kind of volume on a GHD sit-up machine.
Yeah. Yeah. At 5 rounds, I would say if you haven't been doing them, I would max it out at like 10 per. Yeah.
10, yes.
If you've been doing them, like I think 15 reps is fine, but like more than 50 total would probably be unsafe, I would say, if you haven't been doing them. But no, that's a great swap. DH is great about that, swapping GHD sit-ups.
Yeah. But here's another thing too. If you go to a bike or row, like I would say in a workout like this, the row would probably be the most comparable to the run because you could really push hard on 30 cals on a bike. But that might come back to bite you, right? Because how long can you actually sustain that? Like if I were to go 30 cals hard on a bike, I could probably squeeze that in like about a 90 seconds, where a 400 meter run, that wouldn't be the case. A hard 400 meter run for me would be a minute 45 to, a minute 55.
But even rowing would be a grip, like you would end up taxing your grip. So there's like there's just nowhere to hide on the bike row.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the challenge that we're going to put out for you guys. Keep it under 3 minutes per round. Push yourself to go under 3 minutes per round. And if you're starting to tinker over that, make an adjustment on the gymnastics portion, not on the cardio portion. Push the cardio piece.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to is there any questions on that? Caitlin, that was a really good one. Let's move on to Wednesdays. Let's go ahead and pull up Wednesdays. All right, Alex, thoughts on this?
Dude, I love it. I just, it reminds me of, I think the very first strength workout is when we had those like cluster sets where you would, like go heavy, rest, which to build volume, to have that little bit of rest between sets I just love that. So I also like the simplicity of it. There's just one part you get to choose, it's like 3 to 5 rounds. So I know, when I was talking with Danny about this one, he was like, he just wanted to give people like a range in case they were short on time. It's like, okay, no worries. Like go heavy for 3 rounds and then call it a day. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Now, so I'm going to go I'm going to go barbell for the back squat because I can. But I only have 1 bar and 1 rack set up. So for the bench, I'm just going to go dumbbell. I think we listed it as dumbbell, kind of assuming that would be true for most people. And I can't go heavy. So I'm just going to go tempo bench press. I'm going to do like a 3-second negative with a quick press just to kind of compensate for that. Cause the volume's pretty low, 3x5 per round. So yeah.
3 to 5 rounds. Wow. 3 to 5 rounds of all of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been enjoying obviously just going barbell version for these. That 15 seconds of rest is not a lot of time. Like that's you racking the barbell, taking a quick breather, and then
literally,
and then going right back to it.
Yeah.
The dumbbell bench press. I'm probably, I don't know. I right now I'd say I'm feeling a barbell bench, but also I've been enjoying going heavy. It is 15 reps with per round, which is awesome. Who knows? Maybe there's no need to rack it and just hold it in the upright position for the 15 seconds. Or,
that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's also really good because that's also very, very challenging. What's interesting about these sessions, and Caitlin kind of is commenting on here, no need for any other workouts with these strength ones. I'm wrecked after, even though I don't swear or feel the pain during the workout. 100%. I oftentimes won't even do part 2 because part one has taken me a long time to warm up into. And then once we actually do it afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like I'm good. And that's just kind of where I'm at. But of course, if people want to follow, this is where we kind of started listening to what the people say. Like, hey, just because that's our schedule doesn't mean that we didn't want to put that extra work in there, because that stuff is super beneficial and it's also great. I'm at a place in this season of life where I'm like, yeah, part 1, I'm golden. And if anything, if I'm going to do something extra, it's going to be more of like aerobic work. All right, I'm going to hop on the Concept 2 bike erg and go for like 10, 15 minutes, or do like, hey, 5,000 meters at a higher intensity. And that's where I'm at with my training or my workouts right now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know a lot of people have been plugging the optional, like whenever part 2 and the optional accessory, like later in the week with a shorter workout, which I think is awesome. Cool.
Optional
you want to move on to Thursday?
Yeah, I didn't even see any of those optional accessories. Yeah, you start to see like skull crushers, weighted hollow holds, glute bridge. Yeah, like that. Oh man, talk about like, man, that's like a butts and guts almost, right? That's like a butts and guts session.
Like a cash out. Yeah.
A little cash out.
Yeah.
I don't know why I struggle so much with the patience when it comes to those things.
You're like, let me just get in. I agree. I don't know. CrossFit changed me, man. I want to just tackle something hard, fast, and move on with my day. Yeah, I'm the same.
I struggle with it when people are like, I just wanted to set a test room. I'm like, but why? It's so boring, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's good for you. It's good for you, but.
Yes, exactly. It's not that it's not good for you, but so is, so is a 5,000 meter, ski biker, it's good for the heart. Anyway. All right, let's move on to Thursday.
Cool. Oh, I like this one. This is one where, I mean, if you have a pair of dumbbells, I think it's the best bet. Although barbell's pretty cool too. So each round or each part, you're preceding a set of lunges with a carry. So like you have 200-meter farmer carry, and then you go into 40 farmer lunges. So you're fatiguing your grip going into the set of lunges. And then the next carry is shoulder rack, going into shoulder rack lunges.
Wow.
And then you finish with an overhead carry into overhead lunges. So yeah, I like this one a lot.
Interesting. 200-meter farmer carry. Yep. 40 alternating dumbbell farmer lunge. Would
you, let me ask you this, because we rarely do this, but for program B, we did a barbell front rack carry and a barbell overhead carry. Would you risk it? Would you do that?
Yeah, I obviously I would feel more stable with the barbell overhead carry. Now that's a real estate issue. You have to be we have the luxury of having lots of property. So it's easier for us to be able to do those movements and not worry about banging something up. Or if you have a driveway that's is long enough. But here's the thing. I also can appreciate doing this with kettlebells. Because I recognize that the barbell for me would be more of a cop-out. The kettlebells or dumbbells would be something that I really need to challenge myself on, to focus on that overhead stability and keeping my rib cage down. I tend to overarch.
Yeah.
So what I would challenge, people who have that kind of issue is to push yourselves and do kettlebells or dumbbell overhead walk and carry. And what I'm going to push myself on, instead of doing the single arm overhead for the third part, 200-meter single arm dumbbell overhead carry, which I'm pretty sure you'll alternate on the way back.
Yeah.
The 200 meters with both kettlebells instead of just a single. And doing the single, and then yes, I would do the single arm dumbbell overhead lunge. Or depends if you are also in that mode of hey, I actually, back when I was competing a lot, you would see lots of overhead lunges with the barbell in competition or in regionals, or double overhead carry, double kettlebell overhead walking. So if that's your cup of tea, challenge yourself. That would be the extra challenge for you. But if it's something that you're doing more for pride and ego because you just want to look cool, but if your overhead positioning looks like this, please don't do that. Hey, just do a single arm overhead carry.
Yeah. Don't be a hero.
Don't be a hero. But yeah, that is the glory days of that version. But yeah, that's going to be a good one. Yeah,
Caitlin was asking what were some tips for saving grip. And I think with dumbbells in particular, you probably do this, but I'll slide it so that the front dumbbell head is kind of resting against my knuckles.
Yes.
Which is some people might call that a cop out, but I'm still hanging on to them. No. It does eventually.
I do not hook grip at all. Actually.
Yeah, no, I think my hands are too small, or my thumbs are too short too. So yeah, I'll just manipulate the angle of the dumbbell. I might rest the back dumbbell head against the back of my hand if it's getting really gnarly. But I mean, otherwise you could break at the halfway point. I think I would do that regardless.
Totally.
At the 100-meter mark, just set them down, do a quick lap.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. It's a very grippy workout, especially the beginning round can set you up for failure if you do not break often.
Yeah.
Do not try to be a hero and go unbroken on the farmer carry and then 40 unbroken farmer lunges, because that's just going to shoot your grip completely.
Yeah.
So even on the 40 alternating dumbbell lunge, break that into 2, 3, 4 sets if you need to.
Yeah, I'm thinking like no more than 20 at a time. Maybe, maybe
Yeah.
it's like 15, 15, 10 or something. Shoulder rack, I would try to keep an open hand, like not, because sometimes we get like death grippy, like just
Yeah.
relax your grip, let it rest on your shoulders as much as possible.
You bring up a good point. If I'm doing dumbbell shoulder rack carry, I'm not going to hold it like this where the dumbbells are not resting on my shoulders. That ends up blowing out my elbows, actually. It flares them up. So I do like the completely upright dumbbells and just focus more on keeping my midline tight and just having that weight over me. Then the dumbbells are facing upright. That for me is my comfort level. And it's still really hard.
Oh yeah.
But
just the pressure, like the weight on your torso.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm glad, real quick, and then I think we can move to Fridays, but I'm glad Julie brought up, she said she's going to do a 2-minute march in place. So anyone, if you can't go outside, I know it's snowing in a lot of places right now. That's great. I think like if you have like a bumper plate that you can step up and onto just to like be like feeling like you're being productive. If you don't like marching in place, but yeah, 1 minute per every 100 meters is great.
You know what, that you bring up a really good point. If you're going to be marching in place, if you have plates at home, set up 2 45-pound plates.
Yeah.
That way it's not really like a full step up. You are stepping up onto a plate, but at least it mimics a motion that you're walking, so that way you're having to focus on your core stabilizing on the step up, step down. Nothing more than 2 45-pound plates stacked. So it doesn't shift into like a step up workout. It's more of like, I'm mimicking the rocking that's happening as if I were walking out on the street.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we can move forward.
Cool.
Friday, Salvi.
Woof.
A 10-minute AMRAP. As many of 6 dumbbell push up, 4 devil press, 6 dumbbell push up. Am I tripping right now? And then 6 dumbbell push press.
It's like a deficit push-up, basically. So it's just hands on dumbbells while you do push-ups.
Cool. All right. Sounds good. Awesome. So 6 dumbbell push-ups, 4 devil press, 6 dumbbell push press. Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Just straight up. I said, if you're looking for boulder shoulders, look no further.
Oh my goodness. Oof.
Right?
Extra challenge, of course. 8, 6, and 8. Yep. I mean, oh my gosh.
So what I envisioned for this one was like basically an unbroken round. So you're just, it's like real fluid, you finish your 6 push-up, you go down again to start your devil press. You move from the 4th devil press right into your push press. But it's just going to thrash your upper body.
I would say that if for some of you guys who want to be heroes out there, because we're not asking you to treat every workout like a hero workout, but this is something that is more, so there's that level of intensity. You're just like, wow. To me, I look at this, I'm like, this would be a fun workout. You could throw a weight vest on there if you wanted to. Because here's the thing, I would keep the 40-pound dumbbells and not go to 50. I just wouldn't go to 50-pound dumbbells. I would rather put on a weight vest and stick with the 40-pound dumbbells if I was going to actually challenge this.
Yeah. Well, especially with devil press. I mean, I think we've done them enough and people have built enough confidence with them to go like with the heavier 50, 35. But that gets kind of sketchy.
Yeah, I have to warm up. If I even think about doing a 50-pound devil press, I'm like, no, I got to really warm up for this. And honestly, I don't really want to warm up this much for this, for 50-pound dumbbells on this. Like, no, I'm good. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't change that much. I mean, that one's just going to be freaking rough. That's a fun dumbbell workout. What is the program C? Let me see. Can you do this with devil press? Huh? Wow.
I will say, I mean, I said I would see the intention being just a full round without stopping and then resting between rounds. But that's just not going to be possible for some people. We know how much push-ups can be a limiting factor, especially with so this one basically is a sneaky deficit push-up. Like,
right.
Just by the nature of having your hands on dumbbells, you're gonna be moving through a little bit of a fuller range of motion. So for a lot of people, I think breaking those 6 up into like 3-3 or even like 2-2, like real quick sets of 2s leading into the devil press, which you have to then press again, you know?
Right.
I think that would be smart.
Yeah, you know, and oh man, yeah, try to hold it as an imam. Try, you know,
Yeah.
see how long that holds until it completely falls apart.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
the goal sets you up for that. It's 7 to 11. So yeah, the
Mhm.
higher end would be an imam. And I think if you could hold it for like, 6-7 minutes and then if the wheels fall off, well, you still hit the goal. So
Yeah.
everything's good.
You know, something that I even comes to mind when I look at a workout like this is if I wanted to change it up, depending on how I was feeling, it was like, I don't really feel like doing devil press, but I do want to do a ground to overhead movement. I would even do like, all right, I'm going to set up dumbbell push like a deficit push up,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. Um, you talk about bringing like the handstand push-ups back into the element of this. Another way that I would probably approach this, and this kind of changes up so much, but I'd be like, all right, I'm going to do strict handstand push-up or deficit kipping or deficit strict handstand push-up for barbell snatches and go a little bit heavier, and then 6 barbell push press. Like that is another way that I would kind of approach it, just if I wanted to change things up a little bit. Still kind of in line with what's happening here.
Well, yeah, because the volume's low. Like it's only 4 and 6 reps. So it's not like, I like that you're bringing that up because, what we've been doing on Fridays or Saturdays each week with the heavy version, the strength focus Metcon is hopefully like teaching people, hey, if you like to lift heavy, our daily workouts rarely present opportunities to go like heavy.
Right.
We're maybe max out at like 115, 135 for a guy. So I think this is a great opportunity to kind of to use that fitness freedom and recognize, oh, it's only 4, it's only 6. Like this is a great day. I don't have to do a whole lot of like rearranging if I just wanted to put some heavy weight on the bar and do snatches and push press.
Absolutely. But yeah, and then those are my notes there. And then Saturdays, if we look at Saturdays.
Yeah, speaking of strength focus.
Yes.
So we have 3 parts. Each part is every 90 seconds for 6 minutes, 100-meter shuttle run. Part 1 has some heavy front squats, and then you earn some rest hopefully between each round.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have weighted strict pull-ups in part 2, and then heavy hang squat cleans in part 3.
Wow, that's fun. There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that one. And then, I mean, it's a pretty stark difference from A, B, and C, or I should say, yeah, A, B, C is like max reps.
Yeah,
So
we have
it's
Caitlin
totally
asks,
different.
like thoughts on shuttle run. I always skip them and do something different. Am I cherry picking?
I mean, yes, that's cherry picking, but
but I'm with you, Caitlin. I'm with you.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of shuttle runs, I'll be honest, but I do, I think it's important that we can work on those, like, the agility of turning around and
Accelerating
changing
and
direction.
decelerating.
Yeah. And 100, so these are every 25 meters. So it's not like that open workout that we did in the studio where it's like, God, I'm turning around so many times. It's like, this is a little bit more forgiving. You're only touching the ground like 3 downs.
Like also if you want to on part 2 and just be like, hey, part 1, I'm going to do shuttle run. Part 2, I'm going to do something differently. And then part 3, I'm going to go back to shuttle run. If you want to break it up, that's also totally cool as well.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. This is a fantastic workout to just like pick and choose. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do shuttles first part 1, pull out the bike for part 2, for those of us, who have that option.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
But all right, cool. Okay, well, Alex just called us out, so we have to do them Saturday. Nice. That's great, Caitlin. We lost Caitlin this Saturday. Did you do this week's?
Yes, yeah, I did. I did drop to 6 burpees because I have to move. I have to control the push-up part. So
Wait, what are you talking about? Because
Oh, sorry. I thought this past Saturdays. I thought you were talking about this past Saturdays.
what was the strength one that was like 3 back squat followed by 30 unbroken wall ball and then a 400-meter run?
Yeah, no, I just did the shift for that one. It was just air squats and biking.
Man. That was tough. Caitlin, shout out to
Dude.
Caitlin. She went 30. She committed to 30 unbroken.
That's awesome.
Ball. She made an adjustment on the weight, but then like we completely lost her after that. Like she was done. And we're like, what happened to Caitlin? Because we had friends over and we did like grilling and like burgers and stuff. And then all of a sudden I looked up on our house and then Caitlin's trucks just go leaving. We're like, what? Where'd Caitlin go?
She pulled an Irish goodbye.
She pulled an Irish goodbye. Usually that means like Caitlin has to go to the bathroom. Like I'm either I'm puking or this workout hit me so hard that it's making me have to take a seat.
It reminds me of like the bike test, like the 50 cal bike test.
That's an instant Irish goodbye. Like when you're done with that, you're like, you don't want to hang out with anybody.
No.
All right, cool.
You're just like writhing on the floor.
I hope, I don't know, Salvi, maybe when you start filming the little timestamp thing here too. So when we move on to the next workout, we can timestamp. Timestamp. Moving on to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
No smoked meats for Caitlin.
I know. Oof. I had the egg going on here at the house, but it was in the backyard though. So anyway. Nice. Cool. I'm going to open it up for anybody. If they have any last minute questions, we're going to stay on here for 2 more minutes. If not, you guys can always refer. Well, I'll post this on the Facebook page afterwards. We're like, hey, we went over this week's programming, so take a deep dive. And if you have any questions, open it up here. But yeah, you have us here now. So ask away if you guys have questions for this stuff. If not, don't say that we're not engaging with you guys because we are. Okay.
It's true.
Salvi, you can jump on here.
Salvi, what workout are you looking forward to the most?
Dude, I'm looking at that Friday one.
I thought you would like it.
But what, like the way it is, or like the?
Yeah, I mean, I think the extra challenge was 868. So
yeah, you could do that for sure.
Oof, I just feel it. I feel it.
Broken, dude. Yeah,
you just be like walking around all swole for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Julie, do you have any cardio equipment at home at all? Let me know if you have any cardio equipment at home. But if she doesn't, Alex, do you have any ideas for a shuttle run?
Yeah, if you don't have space, so Julie, would you? Well, and I guess maybe she doesn't. I was just thinking because she's gonna do the carry. She's gonna do the carry, the march in place.
She does it in her living room, usually in front of the fireplace.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a treadmill and an assault bike. Yeah.
I would say just like 30 seconds. Yeah. I would just do 30 seconds of. We'll either do program C because that's gonna have your bike calories. But 100-meter shuttle run is like 30 seconds, give or take. So
yeah, so I would just do an assault bike, Julie. I wouldn't really stress too much about it. And this is one of those things where you just like be realistic with what you have at home as well. Even though we have program shuttle runs, like, it's okay. Like you don't have to go out and you have a reason for customizing it and making it work for you at home. Yeah, go assault bike and maybe do 7 to 9 calories every time you're on that bike. And if that takes somewhere in the 30, 45 second range, and that way you have like a measure to hit every single time. Because usually whenever I see timed workouts, it's like, okay, after 1 or 2 rounds, I know my pacing enough to know, okay, I know exactly what I'm aiming to hit and try to keep it within this window here. So I think 7 to 9 calories may be appropriate for that. But anyway, Beck Jacob, I need some help stringing together dubs. I can't get about 30 to 40 unbroken. Then the wheels come off. Well, then I would say don't aim to get 35, 40 unbroken. Break sooner.
Yeah. So
the wheels don't fall off.
Right.
And see if that helps. Right.
I know. I'm like, man, 35 to 40 in a row. That's pretty good. It's not like you're not, it's not like you're struggling to string together a couple. It's kind of like what you said though, during the workout, Julian. Like, I don't know if in the workout is the best time to be pushing that threshold.
That's correct.
It might be better to like do an every minute or every 2 minutes of just a max set and just kind of like keep pushing that envelope.
Yes. And if you're saying I can get about 35 to 40 unbroken, then the wheels fall off, that means that as a coach, it shows me that you're not efficient in them yet. Because 35 to 40 for the wheels to fall off, that means you're too stiff, you're not relaxed enough. And then if that's completely destroying you, we got to pull it back. Take the time to then work on that as a skill set. Do hop overs in the meantime until you build up that volume, and that's going to benefit you more in the long run, Beck. So, all right, so maybe purposefully break at 15 to 20 to be consistent getting through the 100. Yeah, and I would say it's okay to do. Going back to what Alex said, do sets of 10, but don't go past 90 seconds or 2 minutes on that section. Okay, be okay with just moving on, and do not let yourself be defeated with ego. Be like, gosh dang it, like I should be doing better. I should be doing more. You're setting a false expectation for where you're at the time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Imagination. Go ahead, Alex. Hit it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Kessler is talking about like daily workouts or the vault workouts in particular. We were talking about how I was laughing on the Word on the Street episode last week. Miranda was like, people say the programming's changed, but like I just used the 2017 workouts. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I can't say for sure that they are. I think we have our moments where we really, we want to push you guys and we maybe get a little bit of aggressive with the goal or, but I can't say that, I contribute to the programming. Miranda contributes to the programming. Chelsea does. I feel like we keep a pretty level head, and I don't know that we've strayed super far from our usual, but
yeah, maybe you're just in a different season where you're getting the energy and you're just pushing harder.
Yeah.
Which is also super cool as well,
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing, we're not intentionally trying to destroy you guys if that's what you're feeling. We're just literally pulling from the past. So yeah, mainly the goal times weights. I'm enjoying it, pushing me to be a bit for uncomfortable.
That's great.
But yeah, that's good. And that's really good. We got to we got to grow.
Yeah.
He's somewhere out there. Chongo? Yeah, we're still on that. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. The Reddit group talks about this every week. Oh my gosh, Alex, you're diving deep into that Reddit, huh? That's dangerous, bro. That's dangerous.
Yeah, I got to stay off of that for sure.
Yeah, I would just say that no, I don't think that. I think that maybe people are just going through seasons of life, or even some of the volume, or if it, or sometimes because we haven't really changed much in our programming. If anything, we've changed a lot from 2017, 2018. Like I feel like we've been more realistic for the everyday person that's working out at home.
I agree.
Doing 315 in the demos.
Yeah, I was using like 315 in the freaking demos for deadlift,
Yeah, I look at those old workouts and I'm like, how did we ever do this? Like, I feel like we're far more reserved now than like OG street parking for sure.
They've done a good job recently. Who's they? Oh, I don't want to get triggered right now, so I'm just gonna. Alex, I'm about Bridgeforth. You're good people, okay? The Reddit group, I don't know about that though. No good can come out of a platform where people can be anonymous and share their opinions.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
It's like, nah, haters. All right, we're about to top an hour, so we're done. We went deep onto this week's programming. I hope you guys enjoy it. Timestamp. We'll get that going for you guys. But it's going to be a great day of a great week of fitness. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't had a chance, check out the Word of the Street episodes. We went into a deep dive on street parking, a review of street parking. It's like the first hour and 30 minutes of it, actually, what it is, what it isn't. And I thought that was actually, it opened up a really good conversation. So, go check that out.
Yeah.
Take care, guys. Later.
Bye.
Where's the emojis? Gosh dang it.
No thumbs up.
Gosh dang it.
Spider-Man. Welcome to week 9 of the 2025 vault. You're gonna get a lot of rounds.